water, and air. These are the elements the Pomo Indians live in harmony with. Who are the Pomo? They are a special group of Native Americans who live in what we now call Sonoma, Lake, and Mendocino counties of Northern California. They have lived in California for at least the last 10,000 years. Pomo means people, and these are a very special people. But things were much different back then. Let's take a few moments to go back in time and see how the Pomo lived before white man came to North America. Like most Native Americans, the Pomo lived solely off of Mother Nature, being careful and keeping everything in balance. The land had an incredible abundance of natural resources, and the Pomo lived happily. Pomo people chose to live by streams, lakes, or by the ocean, where food sources were especially abundant. They lived in conical houses made of redwood bark, or huts made with willow branches and tule or cattail shoots. The raw materials had to be gathered and harvested during special times of the year. Pomo use techniques learned from their elders and make strong rope or twine to make their structures strong and durable. Their main source of food was the acorn, a type of fruit or nut that grows on oak trees. They especially liked the acorn from the tan oak. Once gathered, the acorns were then ground up with a mortar and pestle. Sometimes they would use a basket over the mortar to prevent acorns from flying out when grinding them. When ground, the acorns turn into a fine powder, similar to the consistency of the kind of flour we use for baking bread. Once in this stage, the flour was then taken down to a stream and leached until the tannin is gone. When it was ready, it would then be used to make bread, soup, or a special kind of porridge. The Pomo were famous for their basketry. They made two kinds of baskets, twined, or 1,000 stick, and coiled. 1,000 stick baskets are made by using many sticks joined together in the center and then working outwards. Here is a very large 1,000 stick basket. It was probably used for cooking. Notice the beautiful design of Pomo basketry. Can you find the break in the pattern? It was purposely put there and is called the dowel. The dowel allows the spider spirit to enter the basket and protect the woman while she is making it. The spider spirit also keeps the basket nice and tight. Another kind of 1,000 stick basket using this technique is called a burden basket. Burden baskets are used for the transportation of wood, gathered acorns, or other objects used in everyday activity. The baby carrier was used with rabbit fur or dried moss, which functioned as a diaper and softened the ride. Another style of basketry is the coiled. These baskets are highly prized by the Pomo. Coiled baskets are made with 1, 2, or 3 main rods and are coiled and stitched around in a snake-like fashion. These are very tight and elaborately adorned baskets that were used in ceremonies or gift exchange. They were often decorated with shells and feathers. The red color feathers come from the acorn woodpecker. These beautiful black feathers come from the top knots of the male California quail. The green and yellow feathers are from the mallard and meadowlark. thousand stick and coiled were used in the everyday life of the Pomo, and the Pomo women still spend a great deal of time gathering and making them today. The main framework is woven with slender, peeled, white willow shoots. The dark fiber is made from the bark off redbud and is used as a primary material for making the dark designs. But the main, most important material used in these baskets is a bundled light material on her lap called sedge. Sedge is a part of the grass family and grows in shaded and moist areas near rivers and streams. The part of the sedge that is used is called a rhizome. A rhizome is a kind of root that extends horizontally underneath the sandy soil. The longer rhizomes are dug up with sticks and split in two pieces. They are then rolled up into a bundle. Pomo men made baskets also, but they tended to use more coarse materials, like wild grapevines. Can you guess the technique that he is using to make this fish trap? Here is an example of how they would use the trap. Sometimes the men would use fibers from the iris plant to make fish nets, but this process took much longer. Another kind of trap they used was made out of willow shoots and was used for the trapping of birds. Pomo men and women also made different crafts using natural materials, like the Washington clamshell. These were made with them and then used as decoration or money. The Pomo would make simple hand pump drills with obsidian points at the end to drill holes in the rounded pieces of shell. The finished beads were often strung and made into necklaces that could be worn around their neck or put into the designs of the coiled baskets. Since we know the Pomo used these beads for money, would you guess this man would be rich or poor? The Pomo loved to play games and gamble. These sticks, called staves, were thrown down onto a rabbit skin to see which side of the design faced up or down. Points would be given, and the person with the highest score would win food, money, or other goods. Dice were made out of black walnut shells and pine pitch. Sometimes the pieces of abalone shell would be used to make patterns on the dice. Along with gambling and playing, the Pomo also loved to tell stories. Often their stories would include Coyote as their narrator. In Pomo mythology, Coyote was often the creator, trickster, healer, or warrior. He was here on this earth along with all the other animal people, like the deer, raccoon, bobcat, rabbit, skunk, and the squirrel people. All were here in life situations, learning the lessons, and translating it to the Pomo. The Pomo had much respect and interaction with the plants and animals. They would often dress up in costumes and have ceremonial dances that imitated the bird people. Possibly other animals and plants. Ceremonial dances are still danced by the Pomo today, and they are striving to retain their culture. These dances help in winning the respect and support from this modern world. The Pomo continue to practice their culture and their sacred and private ceremonies on the reservations in California. Structures like this are called roundhouses. In each roundhouse, there is a front door, a rear entrance, and a smoke hole in the roof. The smoke hole allows smoke and prayers to be lifted and sent to the four corners of earth and heavens. Inside there is one main center pole, which is powerful and sacred to the Pomo. It symbolizes something like the cross is to Christians. Also, there is a pit dug in the earth floor, where huge bonfires are made. As you may know, the Pomo culture is still alive and strong today. The art of basket making has been handed down through the generations, and their dance still continues. Spiritual leaders or tribe shamans lead ceremonies to unite their people and keep their culture strong. Lauren Smith, a shaman of the Kashaya Pomo, once told me, "If I don't have my culture, I don't feel like I have anything. Someone without culture doesn't have anything to lean on, nothing to look back on, and without that, we are lost." That is what life is all about, you know, sharing and supporting one another and giving what you can.